It doesn't matter if you've been thinking about starting a podcast or a business or a YouTube channel or anything else. If you're thinking about it, you've probably had those thoughts of doubt. What if nobody listens? What if we don't sell anything? What if this doesn't work? I get it. I've had those feelings as well. I still get them sometimes. But I told those voices to shut their holes. And I took a shot and it worked. And if I can do it, you can do it. And it's going to be easier than you think because you can have Shopify on your side. Shopify is like the greatest employee you will ever hire because they can take so much off your to-do list. They have hundreds of ready-to-use website templates so you can get your website up and running ASAP. They can help you create email and social media campaigns so you can reach your customers wherever they happen to be scrolling. And maybe most importantly, Shopify is your commerce expert, helping with everything from inventory management to shipping orders internationally. And if you ever get stuck, Shopify's award-winning 24/7 customer support is there to help you out. It's time to turn those what ifs into with Shopify today. Sign up for your $1 per month trial today at shopify.com/RTG. Go to shopify.com/RTG. That's shopify.com/RTG. Some damn fine NES music right there. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Remember the Game. It is my retro gaming podcast where every week a buddy of mine and I sit down and we geek out about the games we played back in the day. My name is Adam Blank. Thank you so much for listening to the show. And this week it is episode 364, and we are talking the NES cult classic, Bionic Commando from Capcom. Is cult classic the right term? Yeah, I think it is. Because when people talk about NES games and the heavyweights, you got your Marios, your Zeldas, your Contras, your Mega Mans. But not everybody brings up a game like Bionic Commando. You know, and I feel like it's in that... I feel like Bionic Commando falls into that NES tier where it's not among like the first games everybody thinks of, but it's also not part of about the 500 crap games that are on the NES. It's like right in that meaty little middle part of the sandwich. It is a cult classic. It's people seem to worship it in a way, so those that do like it seem to love it, and now that I've played it, I understand why. I get it. Also, just really quickly, shout out to Capcom. We were just talking on a stream last week about how they're one of the best like third-party developers out there in 2026. This game came out in 1988. This is almost 40 years ago, and Capcom was killing it back then too. Capcom, they're on their fucking game, man. Like, so many studios have come and gone and fallen apart. You got Ubisoft just lighting the entire industry on fire right now. But shout out to Capcom. Anyways, if you've not played Bionic Commando, it is a side-scrolling shooter, mostly, where you're killing bad guys with your guns and you're platforming, but you can't jump at all. That's really the hook, I think, to the game. That's what everybody thinks of. All your platforming is done with this grappling hook on your one arm. And while it definitely has a learning curve to it, it took me quite a while to get a feel for that grappling hook. It's kind of a nice change of pace from the standard character jumps 3 to 10 times their height, no problem, that we all know and love. You know, I think if this game had regular jumping in it, probably would have been forgotten about. The grappling hook is what makes it stand out. And then when you add in, there's this map, you can navigate and kind of play the levels in not any order you want, but you can mix and match as you feel you want to. You find new equipment that upgrades as you go along. There's a story to keep things moving. There's occasional top-down shooter levels. It's a very ambitious game. It's a little NES cheap at times, a little bit NES tough at times, but that's the way she goes, Bubs. That's the fucking way she goes when you're playing NES games. So joining me this week to talk about hunting down Hitler, who I had no idea was in this game when I started playing it, but I'm always down to kill some Hitler, is the gentleman of Remember the Game Industries, my pal David Rae. He's back, he's healthy, and he has been on me to review this game for literal years and years. So while I'm actually not sure how the conversation went, as I'm recording this intro before we talk about Bionic Commando, I'm going to assume we had a great time talking about killing bad guys, grapple hooking, and blabbing with people on radios. And we'll get into all that in just a couple of minutes, because speaking of blabbing, it's time for another edition of the Remember the Game infamous intro. Dun, 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 dun! And if you're new to the podcast, welcome aboard. Consider this your warning. Our intros are a little long. They're not that long, but they are a little long. But they're a good time. We talk video games and stuff. It's fun. And you don't require mastering a grappling hook if you want to skip them. All you do is you take your phone, you go to the little slider thing, take it to right around the 30-minute mark, and you should be into Bionic Commando talk. But I recommend hanging around. We talk video games and stuff. It's a good time. Let me get my plugs in. It's how I keep the bills on around here. Just if you just indulge me for like 2 minutes, let me do my plugs here. We have a Patreon. It's pretty much the lifeblood of Remember the Game these days. And it's not like I'm just asking you to give me your money in exchange for nothing. I don't send nudes anymore. They said that was against terms of service. But I do send extra podcasts. Most weeks, I publish 4 additional shows. So you'll get a show Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. None of my Patreon episodes have ads. Remember the Game over there has ad-free and timestamp as well. The entire 364 episode back catalog and more than podcasts. You can write into the podcast, get read on the show. You can vote on the games we cover. You can join our 1,000+ member Discord, and you get, access to hundreds upon hundreds of archive bonus podcasts that have already gone live as well. And beginning in 2026, I do live streams Monday through Friday from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Over on Patreon as well. So you can come by and watch those. And on top of all that, all the other perks you get a shout out and you get to hear me mispronounce your name. Like I'm definitely going to do to at least one of these people. And that might be the best perk of all. A huge thank you to all of our newest Patreons. I haven't had an episode in 2 weeks. There's a few of them here. Fabian, Christian, I don't know if you're a wrestling fan, but I love your name because of the wrestling. Like, Christian, at last you're on your own. Corey Grant, Paul Jacobs, Forrest Cool, Mr. Man, Proud Slurm Addict, I get that reference, Cody Donaldson, Purple Love Boat, Tate Van Ostrin, Nutella the Hun, Tanuki, Colin Feltz, Jeremy Blencow, Fireborn, Zach, Martin, you knew I was going to butcher this one. Martin Leander Moynichin Brant Zag. Sorry, Martin. JB214, Ben Clifford, and Graham Bergsma. Thank you all so much for the support, and welcome to Remember the Game Industries. You can find all that at patreon.com/rememberthegame. Subscriptions start at $3 a month. There's some free episodes over there you can check out to give it a chance if you want to, and if you sign up for a full year, we'll give you a month on the house. That's enough blowing myself. Let's blow some of you by blowing in some cartridges. It is our opening segment here on the show. I read a few comments and questions from our Patreons, usually gaming related, but not always, and we call this segment Blowing in the Cartridge.
He blows all right. He blows big time.
That's it, honey. Get into the spirit.
Let's blow our first blower. Fuck, man, why am I struggling so hard today? I have 3 podcasts today. My mouth better get in shape. I'm in trouble here. Let's blow our first blower this week. Easy for me to say, is Timmy the Exuberant Turtle, who said a certain podcast host has been encouraging me to try new things, and I gotta be honest, I'm pro wrestling game curious. I like watching the bumps and athleticism of professional wrestling, but I don't care for the stories. However, I love a good story in video games, so maybe it's a winning combination that I've never considered. What wrestling game has a great single-player mode, and what's a good way for someone with no knowledge of modern wrestling to approach it? I almost just DM'd you an answer to this, Timmy, but I decided to read it to see what other people would say. I'd recommend checking the Discord and seeing what other people have to say. I play like the WWE 2K games every year, and I gotta be honest, I think the career mode, the My Rise mode, is shit. I don't think the stories are particularly good. They're okay, but like you're not gonna get tens of hours of gameplay out of them. And then the universe mode, you kind of make up your own stories. So if you're not going to play the WWE 2K games, which I think the stories are like 6 to 7 out of 10 at best, AEW Fight Forever is terrible. Don't play that. I'm sorry, AEW. I like AEW, but that fucking game sucks. And the career mode there is terrible. I haven't played a lot of other modern wrestling games. Dude, what's the last wrestling game that has like a really good single-player career mode? You might be going back to like the PS2 or PS3 to like one of the old SmackDown games, Timmy. So I know it's kind of a shitty answer, but that is kind of my suggestion, is go into the Discord and see what somebody else, maybe I'm forgetting something, but I'm really hoping WWE 2K26, whatever the new one is that's coming out, is it 26? Yeah. I'm really hoping that they nail the My Rise mode, because the career modes just haven't been great in a while. Like 2K25's was, I give the career mode in 2K25 a 6 out of 10. The My Rise, it wasn't great. And it's frustrating because like there was a time where the career modes were fucking awesome. I like a good career mode myself, but I mostly buy the WWE 2K games to play universe mode, where I just make shit up and do whatever the zany shit I want is. So, yeah, check out the Reddit or the Discord, excuse me. And listeners, if you've got a suggestion for a good single-player career mode wrestling game with a good story, post it in the Discord and let Timmy know. Tanuki said, hi, Adam, long-time listener, first-time caller. With Shredder's Revenge, Power Rangers, Rita's Rewind, and even that new He-Man game coming out soon, a lot of retro franchises have been getting the arcade beat-em-up treatment as of late. What's another franchise that you would want to see get a similar release? By the way, I listen to you while I'm at work, and thank you for making my long shifts at a pizza shop feel a lot shorter. Well, Tanuki, thank you for your service, because the world needs pizza. So I as long as you work at a good pizza place, if you work at like Papa John's or something, I question you, but thank you for what you do, my friend. Man, what's a retro franchise I want to see get a like arcade beat 'em up? Because yeah, like I mean, like the Samurai Pizza Cats game is apparently supposed to be in the works still. I don't know if it's quite a beat 'em up though. I hope it is. Like I would rather have a Samurai Pizza Cats that's like a beat 'em up. I would like to see a Ghostbusters game, like a real Ghostbusters game, not like real as in actual, but real as in like the cartoon. Real Ghostbusters game. I don't know if you do like a beat 'em up, but zapping the ghosts and that would be kind of rad. Like I mean, there's Street Sharks, there's Biker Mice from Mars, there's all the stupid animal mascots we know from back in the day. I'd love to see a crossover between like the Power Rangers and the Ninja Turtles. I think that'd be fucking awesome. I think that'd be a lot of fun to do in one of those types of games. Simpsons. Oh, dude, I knew Simpsons. Fucking. Oh, that's the one. Like, we haven't had a new Simpsons game in forever. Give us a new Simpsons. Give us a sequel to the Simpsons arcade game. And if I could get a little bit bold, I know they're not known for their fighting, but if we're doing like a Simpsons retro beat 'em up, I would really like to see a Futurama retro beat 'em up. I think that would be a lot of fun. Or a South Park. Dude, a South Park beat 'em up in the South Park style? That could be pretty dope. Yeah, I could go forever. Shredder's Revenge is so fucking good. Rita's Rewind was okay. I published a review that one not long ago. It's not without its charm, but it's no Shredder's Revenge. I'll keep. Oh, dude. Also, if you guys haven't played it, that Marvel Cosmic Invasion's pretty solid. Check that one out. I've been playing a little bit of that one. It's pretty fucking good. The Grim Petron said, howdy, Adam. Despite its rather dubious reputation, I'm stoked for the Virtual Boy games and headset coming to Switch. I remember my mom buying me one out of the bargain bin for $20. I had Wario, Mario Tennis, and Tellero Boxer. Even though it wasn't the most comfortable to play, I really enjoyed my time with it. Are you planning to dip a toe into the Virtual Boy cesspool? I'm on the fence. I never played Virtual Boy back in the day. When Nintendo announced that they were coming to Switch Online, I was definitely intrigued. Because I was like, man, I'm going to be honest with you. Like, if it wasn't for Remember the Game, if I was not a video game podcaster, if I was just a dude that plays video games after work, I don't know if I'd be all that interested. But I definitely think I don't know if I'm going to be doing like a bunch of different Remember the Games based on like a single Virtual Boy game. But I have been thinking about buying the headset and then just playing all of them and maybe doing one episode where I rank every game from the Virtual Boy. But then the Virtual Boy headset sold out because I was on the fence about buying one. So presumably Nintendo's going to put them back up for sale at some point. I'm on the fence, but I'm leaning toward scooping one of the headsets and then just giving every game a chance and doing an RTG where we just rank all the Virtual Boy games. That's kind of where my mind is at right now. But yeah, outside of podcast and like content, my only interest in trying them is morbid curiosity. I don't know. I was never that interested in it. I love Nintendo growing up. I was never that interested in the old VB. Canadian Made Punk said, hello, Mr. Blank. I was listening to the Blankies this past Friday, and you mentioned the Insane Clown Posse, which took me by surprise. I was wondering if you ever actually listened to them. I was also wondering if you hate them. I've been listening to them since 1999, and I have a lot of respect for them, but I also understand how someone can dislike them. Keep up the good work. Remember the game for life. the RTGWO. I like that. I did listen to a little bit of the ICP back in high school. Like, I was in high school from 99 to 01. And I did listen to a little bit. I remember the album with Fuck the World on it. Is that what it was? They just kept saying the word fuck over and over again. I was never the world's biggest ICP fan. I mostly started listening to them because of their appearances in professional wrestling, because I'm a wrestling nerd. I don't hate them, but like, I don't remember the last time I went out of my way to listen to an ICP song either. So not a fan, not a hater. Indifference. They're kind of creepy looking though. Clowns are a little creepy. Like, I'm not scared of clowns, but if I was walking down an alley, I'm getting there. I'm reading it right now, and I'm getting there. But if I was walking down an alley and I ran into a clown, I think I'd be uncomfortable. They're unsettling. They're unsettling. Marcus McD said, fill in the blank. Last episode of Remember the Game, you mentioned that your go-to relaxation game was Picross. As a wise man says on his podcast, you piqued my curiosity, and I absolutely got lost in Mario Picross. You mentioned that there are various Picross games you can snag on the cheap via the Switch. Is there a specific one that you find has better puzzles/movements on the grid, or just find to be better? Thanks always for your insight, and don't break the chain. I get that reference. Thanks, buddy. I recommend the Picross S games. There's like tons of them. I would start with number 3. The first couple are a little bit weak, but I like Picross S. I have played a little bit of that Mario one. Picross S is better, though. Bigger puzzles. They don't, like, hold your hand. Like, that Mario one, if I remember correctly, like, buzzes if you make a mistake, whereas these ones will let you just finish the puzzle, and then you realize you fucked up, and then you got to clean it up. I personally prefer it like that over holding my hand. So, yeah, if you're looking for a good, like, easy to learn time killer game on your Switch or whatever the fuck, look up Picross, and I specifically recommend looking up the Picross S games. They go on sale all the time, and there's a ton of puzzles in each one for like pennies per puzzle by the time you balance it all out. They're fucking really good. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious said, if you had to start a different Remember the podcast, which one would you pick? I have actually thought about this, and obviously I'm assuming this question comes on the shoulders of this year's Blankies, where I mentioned a bunch of spin-off episodes. If you were like, yo, Remember the Game is dead, but you want to do another Remember Something podcast, it would probably be Remember the Wrestler, which I almost launched at one point. And I would have just talked about, like, just like I do with Remember the Game. I would have just talked about a specific wrestler and my memories of them and my favorite matches and my favorite storylines and stuff like that. Probably Remember the Wrestler, or maybe Remember the Episode. And it would be like about different shows I like cartoon shows and stuff, but probably Remember the Wrestler would be the winner there. Johnny from Virginia says, hey Adam, Shinobi Ninja Gaiden both got new installments to their franchises recently. Mega Man and Echo the Dolphin are on their way back. What other unique IP that isn't one of the big dogs do you think needs a new game in 2026? I'm going for Star Tropics. A new Star Tropics would be pretty rad. I would be quite on board. Okay, so we're getting rid of the big dogs, so we're not saying like a new F-Zero, a new Punch-Out, a new Castlevania, a new, like those types of ones. Adventure Island. Does anyone else out there give half a fuck about Adventure Island other than me? I don't know. I know we haven't covered an Adventure Island on the show yet, and I'll field that. That's on me. I'll own that. But it is going to happen. I had Adventure Island 3 when I was a kid on the NES, and I played the shit out of it. And I used to rent 2 all the time. And I don't know why we haven't covered an Adventure Island yet. I love those games. How the fuck have we not got a new Adventure Island? Well, every other franchise is coming back. Why have we not got a new Adventure Island? So that's my answer. Adventure Island. I love those fucking games. I would also take a new Dig Dug. But Adventure Island is my number 1 for sure. Oh! And a new Snake, Rattle, and Roll, please, while we're fucking throwing out weird, obtuse franchise. And a new Boy and His Blob. Oh, I could go forever now. But I'll stick Adventure Island with the gold. Snake, Rattle, and Roll with the silver. A Boy and His Blob with the bronze. No, a Boy and His Blob with the silver. Snake, Rattle, and Roll with the bronze. Those are my 3 picks. And then finally, before we move on, it's letter time. It's letter time. And I am watching you through a camera. Says, hey, Adam, it seems like a lot of podcasts are adding video. Spotify, Netflix, YouTube. It doesn't appeal to me, but I was wondering your thoughts on the movement and if you would consider it. I have considered it. And we've been asked that before. Dude, it's funny sometimes because these episodes all go up on YouTube too. Like you can get them on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and all those other, all the podcast services. But we're also on YouTube. And every once in a while I'll get a bad review and they're just like, oh, this is just the audio. And I'm like, yeah, it's a fucking audio podcast. What the fuck do you like? Put it on in the background. Leave me alone. But I have looked into doing video. There's a couple of hesitations I have with that. Number one, it's the same reason the audio quality of the show changes a little bit from week to week. I've got 6, 7, 8 regular guests, my friends that I rotate in and out of the second chair here. And not everybody owns like podcasting equipment, much less cameras and a computer that's up to snuff to do the streaming or all that kind of shit. So that's part of it. And I'm just going to put my cards on the table. RTG doesn't bring in the income necessary for me to spring for 8 people to get full setups for like an episode every 2 months. So that's part of my hesitation to do video, is that not all my friends can. that wouldn't be the absolute end of the world, because I have thought about doing a video of the infamous intro, and then when we get to the game chat, I could have me on the screen, and if my friend doesn't have the setup, then I just put an image of them or a hand-drawn image of them or gameplay footage beside it or something. But then my other hesitation with doing a video version is my ads, my sponsors get dropped into these shows. Like I put in the retro game ads, but I don't put in the ads for like the companies that are paying my bills, that are sponsoring the podcast. Those get inserted after the show is done. And so if I've got the video one, then I'm like, how are they getting inserted? Whereas a lot of the YouTube ones and stuff, they're shooting those video ads and putting them into the show. And I only get like 150 views per episode on YouTube. Most of my listens are just on Spotify and Apple and stuff. And I do think that podcasting, I do think there's a slice of the podcasting pie that is going the video route, but it's not a slice that I'm looking at right now. There's just too many things that, like, too many I's to cross and T's to dot for me to fuck around with a video version of the show right now. I have been considering, I'm going to let you all in on a little bit of inside dirt right now. Shh, don't tell anybody. I have been considering toying with some wrestling content. And if I do, I haven't decided yet, because wrestling fans drive me fucking bananas. But if I do it, I think it would be like a live stream show. It wouldn't be on pay. It'd be something separate from Remember the Game. And that maybe would get a little bit more of a video version. But I also have a face for podcasting. You know, like I was like, nobody wants to look at me. So I don't know. I don't know. Maybe someday, but it's not something I'm all that interested in right now. Maybe someday down the road though. I'm not convinced that podcasting is going the way of full-blown video. Like like those of you listening to this, do you watch a lot of video like I listen to a couple of shows. There's not a single one that I just watch. Like everything I listen to that's podcast or YouTube show specific, I just put on in the background. Like I'm not watching it for the video part. So I don't know. Maybe I'm out of touch. Maybe it's the children who are wrong. Shout out to anyone who gets that reference. Thank you, everybody that wrote into the show as always. I'll get to a few more of those on the Rambling Idiot this Friday in our Leftover segment, but we need to keep the ball rolling, so let's switch things up and get to our Smash Hit segment, the official game show of Remember the Game Industries. Play one, remake one, erase one. And a huge thank you to Classic Concentration from the NES for unknowingly providing us with the theme music for the show. The rules are simple. Every week I give our patrons 3 retro video games. They can play one as it was released, remake one as a modern game, and the third is erased from time forever. As always, there are no wrong answers, but there is a right one. We'll get to that in just a minute. This week we're talking Bionic Commando from Capcom, so I went with 3 other Capcom NES games. We have Codename Viper, Yo-Noid, and Mighty Final Fight. And for those of you that are just like, what the fuck? Why didn't you go with the big name games like DuckTales and Chip and Dale and Mega Man? We've done all those. This is kind of a niche title in Bionic Commando, so I wanted to go with more niche titles in the 3 games I just listed off. And 29% of you said you would play Codename Viper, remake Mighty Final Fight, and erase Yo-Noid. Let's see what a few of you had to say here, and then I'll tell you what the right answer was. Fireborn said, first off, big fan. This is my first play one, remake one, erase one. I'd play Code Viper. It's a good game. Not great, but good. I'd remake Mighty Final Fight in the form of Streets of Rage 4. That would slap. Yo-Noid? Come on, seriously. Besides the Family Guy clip where we get smashed, why am I struggling so hard today? I've had a coffee. What the fuck? Besides the Family Guy clip where he gets smashed by Mayor Adam West, it lives rent-free in my mind. Other than that, I can live without him. Jesus, fuck. Easy for me to say. That is how a lot of people know him, is from when Adam West... Man, I loved Adam West as the mayor on Family Guy. Adam West, I've said it many times, Adam West is the greatest of all Adams. He is the best Adam of all time. What a legend. Rest in peace. That is how a lot of people know the Noid. But I'm telling you, that game's not that fucking bad. Go back and listen to that episode. We did an RTG on Yo-Noid. Noid's getting no respect in this segment this week. Absolutely none. Zetamore84 said I would play Mighty Final Fight. I don't know anything about it, but the title sounds like a side-scrolling beat-em-up, and those are fun in small doses. I would remake Codename Viper. I've never heard of it, but that's a cool title. I would erase Yo-Noid. I used to work at Domino's, and I still have nightmares from my time there. Get that thing away from me and delete it from existence. See, now, if you work there, I can understand, because I imagine the Noid was always coming in and yelling at you and taking your shit and harassing people. I never hated the Noid. Even back in like the 90s, I never understood the hate for the Noid. I don't know. Sailorman82 said I would play Yo-Noid. Why? Well, during its time, who didn't love Domino's Pizza? And it was a fun platformer, and a yo-yo as a weapon is cool. A+ on Domino's advertising using the NES. There's a voice crack, by the way. Remake Codename Viper. Give it the Mega Man Zero or X style upgrade. And then erase Mighty Final Fight. It was a ripoff of Double Dragon, so go ahead and double erase from existence. I had it for Christmas, and it sucked. I played it for a few days and then tossed it on my shelf and went back to Double Dragon. Such a terrible game experience for me. Hate Mighty Final Fight. We don't usually get that much, I'll be honest, Sailor, that wasn't witty hate. That was just unabashed from the bottom of your heart, vile hate. I'm a fan of the vile hate. I can get on board. I have games like that. Echo the Dolphin. Arthur David, aka Rubik's, said, I've never even heard of that Viper game, so I'll play it. I'll remake Mighty Final Fight, give it a combo system and give it more in-depth gameplay, update the graphics, make it longer, etc. And then Noid, I'd like to erase this from my memories, so off it. Wait, what were we talking about? I see what you did there, because you erased it from your memories. Why you guys all hate on Noid? It had pizza eating contests. It's fun. Angry New Yorker said, I played Codename Viper because I've never played it and it sounds cool. I'd remake Yo Noid and make it Stuffed Crust Noid. Nice. And then does Domino's do Stuffed Crust? I haven't had Domino's in forever. Feels like everybody's got Stuffed Crust now. Stuffed Crust is shit. The shit, not shit, the shit. And then erase Mighty Final Fight because we have other Final Fights, so really there is no final fight. That's sound logic. I can get on board with that. There's some fun answers this week for a bunch of games nobody knows what they are. I'm going with 16% of you. 16% of you got the answer right, as did Andrew Pritchett, who said, let's make like Bruce Wayne in 1989 and get crazy. Play Mighty Final Fight. I love beat-em-ups. Remake Yo Noid. What a weird game. Give it to folks who grew up playing Earthworm Jim and the Oddworld games. Pay them in beer, chicken wings, and pixie sticks, and let's see what happens. I don't know what Viper is. Get out of here with that. Different reasoning, same order for me. I'm going to play Mighty Final Fight because I've never played it, but I've always thought it looked cool. I like the name, and I like the box art. And call that a foolish way to look at life in 2026 as a 42-year-old man, but take me back to my NES when I was 10, 11 years old, and literally that's how I was choosing what I was playing for the weekend, was the name and the box art. And Mighty Final Fight, of these three games, Mighty Final Fight is the one I would have rented as a kid. So I'm going to play it to see what it's all about. And then I'm going to remake Yo Noid. And I know it gets a lot of hate. I've been yelling at y'all for it, but I don't love, but it's a part of my childhood. I grew up playing that game. I kind of have a soft spot for that game. I like the Noid. So I'm going to make it as part of a massive return of the Noid to get Domino's over the hump. I'm going to remake Yo Noid into a modern game. I'll make Yo Noid into a modern Souls-like. And then I probably won't play it because I don't like Souls-likes. But that's what everybody does. So a big, modern, Yo Noid Souls-like. And then I'm going to erase Codename Viper because I just think the name is lame. There's no other reasoning to it. I just think that is a stupid name, and I don't like it. Thanks, everybody that wrote in to play one, remake one, erase one, as always. What have I been playing over the last couple of weeks? And then we'll get into Bionic Commando talk. Honestly, almost the exact same games as it was 2 weeks ago. I'm putting the finishing touches on Silent Hill F right now. We're going to be reviewing that on Expansion Pass tomorrow. If you're a Patreon, I'll let you know what I thought of that. I've been playing Bionic Commando, which you're going to hear about in 2 seconds. I've been playing Metroid Prime 2, which you're going to be hearing about in a couple of weeks. That won a Patreon poll a couple of months ago. I just finished Aladdin, the Sega Genesis version, which, spoiler, will be next week's Remember the Game. People have been telling me ever since we reviewed the Super Nintendo Aladdin that I need to play the Sega one. And I wanted to play kind of a romantic game for the week of Valentine's Day, so I went with Aladdin. So we'll review that next week. And then I'm still chipping away at the Elder Scrolls Oblivion for a someday episode of the Remember the Game. And I've gone back to Cyberpunk for like my 857th time. And you know what? A couple of days ago, I fucking went back to Slay the Spire. It's been a while. The unofficial game of Remember the Game Industries. But I went back to Slay the Spire and won 2 games in one day, which was insane. I love that game so much. I've been playing a lot of video games lately. I love video games. Okay. And then I'm still trying to beat the last level of Super Mario World, the Second Reality Project, that ROM hack that I've been playing for like 2 months. I have been on Bowser's Castle in that game for almost 20 hours now. It's so hard. It's insane. I will fucking beat it someday, though. I will fucking beat it someday. And for everyone asking me to stream it, I've been streaming it on Patreon. I will probably do another playthrough on Twitch at some point, though. Okay, I'm going to get out. I need to drink water. So let me take a break here. We'll let a sponsor in to peddle their wares. And when we get back, it's Bionic Commando talk, okay? We'll remember the game will return after these messages.
In our test center, world-renowned experts play Disney's new Chip 'n Dale's Rescue Rangers game from Capcom. Here's what they say.
Way cool.
Definitely rad.
You'll help Chip and Dale escape their enemies and rescue their good friend, Gadget.
Definitely awesome. All right.
absolutely nuts.
Ouch!
Play Disney's Rescue Rangers game for Nintendo by Capcom. Also, look for adventures in the Magic Kingdom.
Yes!
It's hot.
This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. Do you ever feel like your relationships are the only ones that aren't perfect? Especially with social media these days, it's so easy to peek at other people's lives and feel like they have it all together and you're just barely hanging on. But the truth is, nobody's perfect. And whether you're married, you're dating, you're single, therapy can help you have better relationships with the people you care about by helping you identify what you want out of life and what's bringing you down. BetterHelp can be an awesome way to take the therapy plunge. Their industry-leading match fulfillment rate means they do a great job of pairing you with one of their 30,000 plus therapists that are best suited to your needs. And if the pairing isn't a match, you can switch therapists anytime. Sessions can take place online as well, so you can meet with your therapist when and how it works best for you. BetterHelp has served over 6 million people globally, and they're rocking a 4.9 out of 5 average rating when it comes to their live therapy sessions. Sign up and get 10% off at betterhelp.com/rememberthegame. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/rememberthegame. All right, let's talk some Bionic Commando. As always, I like to let you nerds sound off on the game we're covering before my guest and I hug the microphone. Surprising number of comments for a cult classic, as I've officially labeled Bionic Commando. So I'm going to rip through a whole, I can't get to all of them, but I'm going to rip through a bunch of them because there's clearly a portion of this community that has been waiting for me to cover this game. Ben Drinkin said, I've loved this game since I was a kid. You got to appreciate NES games that are actually beatable. It's fair. I mean, this one is beatable, but there is some horse shittery in this game, which we'll get to in a couple of minutes here. But I agree. It's more beatable than some NES games. That's for true. James Jerry said, this is one of the most underrated games in the NES library. I feel a lot of people either missed out completely or didn't give this game a fair shake because of the grappling mechanic combined with the inability to jump. Can you believe the balls on Capcom for not just making a Mario clone? This game is 100% worth the learning curve. It's incredibly unique for the time, has great graphics, storyline, and a killer soundtrack. I actually agree with all that. Like, I don't think I like this game quite as much as you do, James, but I do agree. It is very unique. It has good graphics. It's got a storyline. It does have a good soundtrack. It checks all the boxes, including the NES horse shittery on occasion. But I'll get on board with that. Benny MB said, greetings from Minnesota. Hey, Adam, so you finally got around to playing Bionic Commando, huh? It's about time. I'm really looking forward to hearing what you think about it since it was one and still is one of my favorites. Try the Xbox 360 version and Rearmed too. To be honest, I haven't been following up on the show, but I saw this email and I thought I'd chime in. That's all I have to say. Keep it up, Adam. Signed, Benny. Benny, I like that your comment read like a letter. Like it read like you were just like, hey, Adam, how's the kids? Haven't talked to you in a while. Hope things are good. I appreciate a comment that reads like a letter written to me. I like it a lot. Too old for normal mode said, sorry, but I think this game sucks. Interesting mechanic with the bionic arm, but I just couldn't get past the fact that you can't jump. I think the game would have been better being able to jump as well as using the arm. I'm sure there are people that like it, and all the power to them. I thought that. I don't know. I'll save it for the show. I can't decide if jumping would help or not. I'm not sure. Yeah, you son of a bitch. Why? Tell me why. Said, I am pumped you're reviewing this. I played it as a kid. I never made it far, but that robot arm grappling hook often felt absolutely exhilarating, like Spider-Man flying through the city. I was always thinking I could get to secret parts of levels or find shortcuts, but I normally just found my shortcuts to my death over and over again. It was kind of like watching your stream when you had that meltdown in that one spot. Rage, but fun. I did. I'll explain that in the review. I was streaming this one, and I had a moment where Angry Adam took over, and it was, if I hadn't been playing it on my NES Classic where the controller cord is only about 6 inches long, that controller would have gone for a ride. Oh my god, I got mad at this game. The underwhelming Kelbasi says, this game is in the top 3 NES games for me. It blew my mind as a 3-year-old when it came out. To this day, I enjoy playing the shit out of it. I just wish the rearmed remake was as good as the original. The remake seems to be controversial. I'm going to try it now at some point. And Doug Walsh says, I'm thrilled to see this game finally get an episode of RTG. Bionic Commando was one of the very first NES games I bought, and absolutely the first that made young me feel like a star in an action movie. This game took the fleeting joy of swinging on a vine in Atari's Pitfall and built an entire platformer around it. Using the bionic arm to swing under enemies and then climb up onto their platforms for the stealth attack was so much fun. I can't recall ever beating it, but I love it all the same. I did beat it, and choking on my own rage here, but we'll talk about that. Let's get into it. That's why you guys are here, right? Let's talk Bionic Commando. I wasted enough time. I'm going to cue up some Bionic music, and when it stops, my buddy David and I are going to talk Bionic Commando, which originally released on the NES in North America back in December of 1988. I love it when we talk about games from the 80s. That That makes my nipples hard. I fucking love that shit. Enjoy the episode, everybody. Let's go. All right, joining me via the blank phone this week, making his triumphant return to Remember the Game Industries, is in fact the gentleman of Remember the Game, and that is my buddy David Rae. I was thinking we need like I'm so happy you're back, and we're gonna talk about that in a quick second here. But like, you're a wrestling fan, you know when a wrestler comes back from like being out for a while and their music hits for the first time and they get the pop, and I was thinking while I was walking my dog today, I was like, we need some entrance music for David, and I'm like, if he's the gentleman of Remember the Game Industries, I was thinking like the British Bulldog theme. Like that was the music I had in my mind, like that. Dun, dun,
that was
dun.
the one.
Yeah, that was what or maybe like William Regal or something. I don't know. Anyway.
Oh, I guess if I'm the gentleman, yes, you are right. That is my gimmick.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That was
no,
not like his.
That.
Not the he's a real man's man music, but like his the other music. Although shout out to the real man's man, that was such a good gimmick. David, it's been a while. How you doing, pal? How's life?
I'm doing really well, actually. Yeah, I'm.
Excellent.
I've been off for a few months and about to head back to work literally tomorrow. So,
boo. Yes, I wanted to quickly address that. People have been asking me to pass on their well wishes and say tell David we hope he's doing good and help he's doing okay. So for those that don't know, David recently has spent a little bit of time hanging out with doctors, but you're good now. Everything's good and you're back and kicking and life is good and you're in the clear. Everything's good.
Yeah. It was open heart surgery. They cracked me open like a pistachio and everything. And
tinkered with your ticker is the technical term, I believe.
Yeah. Yes.
If
we from the Simpsons doctor. Yes.
I love that. I love that episode. Sorry, continue. I love that episode. Please. Sorry, I'll shut up. Please continue.
Oh yeah. Well, the funny, you were just talking about wrestlers, like to a degree, one of the things that they have to do is obviously they have to, your pecs have to recover. And which makes me immediately think of John Cena, who came back like way earlier than he should have, and he surprised everybody at the Royal Rumble, like that. And Cody Rhodes, because Cody Rhodes also like famously tore his pec, and I was like, those are my inspirations of like I'm going to come back better, and which is kind of funny because now I go to the gym and I've never done that before, and so I'm coming back into this, and I actually might be more fit than I was heading into the surgery, which I think is funny. I think that that's a funny way to come out of a surgery.
Good for you. That's great though. Good. Yeah, dude, that Cody Rhodes, like, I'm sorry, I know you guys want Bionic Commando talk. We're going to get there. But like that Cody Rhodes match where he wrestled in that Hell in a Cell or whatever it was, where his whole pec was like purple, like his whole chest. Oh my God.
That was one of the wildest things I've seen. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Tip my hat to Cody. Kid's tough. Anyway, you're back. And we are talking Bionic Commando. Now, we were just talking off air. Every single one of my regular guests has at least one game that whenever we talk about the podcast, they're like, yo, when are we going to cover, insert this game here? And for you, it has been Bionic Commando. You have been bringing it up for so long. And
years.
Literally years. And over the Christmas holidays, I was messing with my NES Classic, my little mini NES here, and I added a whole bunch more games to it. And one of the games I added was Bionic Commando. And I was like, fuck, David's going to be coming back from his surgery. He's going to be feeling good. He's been on me to play this forever. I like NES games. I have it now. Let's play it. So I was like, dude, let's cover some Bionic Commando. And you were like, sure. And then you had said, I have a gift for you that I'd like to get to you before the episode. And we just haven't crossed paths. And just before we hit record, you told me what the gift was.
Yeah. It's Bionic Commando.
It's a physical copy of Bionic Commando.
In the box, original instructions, the whole thing. Because before you asked me to come on to do the episode, I don't even know that you were planning to do it. I happen to be in this kind of like flea market place where they are selling old video games. And I saw Bionic Commando and I haven't seen it anywhere. And I'm like, I need to get that now so I can give it to Adam. And he has no more excuses. You know what I mean? So I was like, I'm going to make him play it. And then when you told me, "Hey, do you want to finally do the game?" I was like, "Oh, I didn't need to spend that money, I guess."
Well,
but but that said, because I thought you got an actual physical copy. The fact that you
sure.
didn't get a physical copy, well, you know what? I'll still send it over to you.
Dude,
So
that's fucking thank you so much in advance. That is so cool of you. You didn't have to do that, but that's very, very
yeah,
cool. And that's such a nice way to force my hand because a lot of my other friends are just like, fuck it, we don't do the game I want to do. I'm not doing your stupid show anymore. And you were like, I'll buy you the game, friend. Now you have it. You have to try it now. You see, this is why you're the gentleman of Remember the Game. That's it right there. Everybody else just says do it or I'm not doing a fucking show. But you were like, here, I got you a copy. You're a good man. You're a good egg.
Thank you. And here's the thing, and why I was so like, we need to do this game, and why I was so insistent to the point that I would buy you it, is like, there are a couple of things from that game that are imprinted on my brain forever. And I think about them, and there's a couple of big surprises that I did not expect, that I'm like, it would be wild to stumble across this, and I wanted you to experience that.
And that's exactly what we're okay. Let's get into it because I streamed my playthrough of this over a couple of streams on my Patreon, and like we'll break down the nitty gritties of the game and everything. I really do like it. I have some gripes, which is the case with like 99% of. I would hear an argument that the only perfect NES game, or the closest thing to a perfect NES game, is probably Super Mario Brothers 3. But most NES games have at least a hole or two in them, and I have some issues with this one. But by and large, great
this
game.
This is not the best game. Like, I'm not saying that this is the best game. I'm saying I had a visceral reaction, and it's like a very certain kind of memories that are imprinted. Like, this.
My God, over and above the kind of like ingenuity of it, and like, because there's some great ideas here, and obviously the grappling hook is the thing everybody talks about, and we'll get there. I guess I'm just gonna spoil it right now. Let's just do it. I was playing it, and I got near the end, and then this like digitized face of the villain pops up on the screen, and we're all like watching it. I'm like, holy fuck, is that Hitler? I think I took a picture of it and put it on my Instagram and shit. And I was like, is Hitler in Bionic Commando? And then his head explodes. Like, graphically explodes.
Oh yeah, it melted like it was Indiana Jones or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I lost my mind, and I was like, this is like, I know this might not seem like a big deal to some of you younger listeners, but like, this is, do you think Nintendo is stingy now? Like, this is NES Nintendo. Yeah. Like, this is, and they snuck a dam in there. The dam alone, not a dam like a water stopping, but the swear word, like damn, like that alone would have had me be like, holy cow, they put a swear in an NES game? But no, we also put Hitler's fucking melting, exploding head in the game. I was shocked. Oh my God.
Yeah. Because Nintendo graphics are not amazing. Like, it's not like they have, especially things at a distance, right? So there's not a lot of like visceral things, but they had like a specific close up of his head. So you can see that that's definitely Hitler, and his face is melting and exploding and everything. Yeah. It was the most visceral kind of thing I've ever seen in the game. And so buck wild. That game in general is wild because in Japan it was like fully called Hitler's Resurrection Top Secret. Yeah. And everything, like, they had the swastikas all over it. In the North American version, they replaced it with like the Nazi eagle logo. But it was like, it was not hiding what it was trying to be. It renamed a couple of, like, they didn't call them Nazis directly, but it was like, man, those are Nazis that you're fighting.
Because I didn't look up the Wikipedia page until after I finished the game. So I didn't know, like, after I finished the game, I went to the Wikipedia page and I saw the Hitler's Resurrection thing, and I was like, oh. While I was playing through it, I had that thought, like those red banners in it with the eagles and shit, and I was like, man, that's a little Nazi-ish. Like, it's not full Nazi, it's a little Nazi, but okay. But then, like, when Hitler popped up, I was like, oh, Jesus. And then when I finished, and then I looked it up, and I was like, wow. And again, like, for those of you that think this is not a big deal, like, keep in mind, Nintendo made sure that Mortal Kombat on the Super Nintendo had sweat instead of blood. Like, Nintendo is very, what's the word I'm looking for? Frigid? I guess. Like they don't. Nintendo doesn't like to. Nintendo's very family. Like it's especially
family
back then.
friendly. Yeah. Yeah.
And wow, so they reskinned a Hitler game and put it on the NES. I was shocked. Let's start with that then. Okay, let's unpack this game. Like, so did you play this growing up, or is this one you discovered later as a grown man?
This is one. So, like, I didn't have a ton of money growing up. We did have a Nintendo, but it's not like I was buying a ton of games. I think I had like 4 or 5 games by the end of the run of the NES. And one of them, we were in like the equivalent of a Value Village, like a kind of a pawn shop type of a thing in Brandon, Manitoba. And I was like, I know they had games there and they were cheaper, like they're used games. So, but they had like 7 games. And so I was like, what looks like the coolest game out of these 7? And like I didn't see any Mario Brothers 3 in there. Okay, I guess like I didn't recognize any of the games. And like Bionic Commando was like, I guess this looks like the coolest game here. So I asked my parents for it, and it was like $15 or whatever. And then that's how I came across it. And like no prior knowledge, and it's like such a strange kind of game. Like there's no jumping. That's the first thing. It's a platformer with 0 jumping.
That's the thing, and that's the thing. Like everybody brought up was that it's that, and it really is. Like at the end of the day, I think I got to be honest. Like that was all I really knew about it going in was the shooting and the grappling hook. And I frankly think there are aspects of this game that stand out just as much as the grappling hook that nobody talks about. But the grappling hook's the selling point. And I gotta say, dude, like part of the reason I'd never played it before or anything is because it's just back in the NES, like this is 1988. Like this is bona fide NES era. Like all we had to go by was the box and the name, and I have to be honest, like I'm looking at the logo. I'm looking at the box art. I have the Wikipedia page up in front of me right now. Like nothing about this game speaks to me. Like Bionic Commando, and it's a guy with a gun. And I'm like, dude, that is the most generic sounding game that I've ever fucking heard. Like nothing about this stands out. And I think this game probably slipped a little bit under some people's radars because that is kind of a generic name. Like so many NES games either had a big name like a Mario on it, or they were like movie games and TV shows and stuff like that. This one is just, it feels kind of generic. And I hope that this episode convinces some of you to give this game a chance, because there is an incredibly inventive, like creative game in here. Like I really respect that. And the grappling hook obviously is the big thing. Both, and I think that's both a plus and a minus.
Yeah.
The grappling hook. Cause like you said, I've never played a platformer where you can't jump.
Yeah,
ever. I don't think
you had to navigate, because you can kind of shoot your grappling hook straight ahead of you, straight up, or at that like 90-degree angle, and you had to use that in combination of like going over obstacles and swinging off of things to like get your momentum across pits and everything, or get around guys. But you're right, like Bionic Commando, well, it follows Capcom's other kind of style, because Mega Man 2, for instance, I'm thinking about that. Have you ever looked at that cover art for Mega Man 2?
Oh, yeah.
It's like, or even Mega Man 1. Mega Man 1 is even worse.
2 is a masterpiece compared to 1.
Yeah, 1's even worse. And if you look at the Bionic Commando, it kind of has the same kind of vibe. Although Bionic Commandos actually does kind of show you what the game is about, but Mega Man was like such a weird looking.
Oh, bro,
Capcom did not know how to do box art.
I will concede right now, if as a child I went to a video game store to rent a game, and the only 2 games they had were Bionic Commando and Mega Man 1, and I had to choose based on the box art, I'm renting Bionic Commando.
Yeah.
Mega Man 1 is some of the worst. Like, I adore that box art now. I want to get a poster of that box art. Like, I love that box art now. But Mega Man 1 is legendarily bad. My God.
Because even Mega Man, like the guy himself, like if you're just like, he's not even a well-drawn man. Like, he's
No,
not like,
and
it's a
just
poorly
dude with a
drawn
gun.
person.
So it looks like the Bionic Commando guy with a helmet is holding a gun. It's terrible. So this grappling hook, like, this is the thing. Everybody, I just read it. Like, everyone listening to this heard the infamous intro. We talked about all the comments from people. A lot of people wrote in about the grappling hook. That's how you get around. Like, you use the B button to shoot, you use the A button to shoot your grapple either in front of you, above you, or to the angle up. And yeah, that's how you get around. Is you grapple the ceilings or the platforms above you or whatever the hell. And then once the grappling hook connects it, then you'll swing off. And actually, it's pretty impressive physics for like an early NES game. Like, you'll swing back and forth, and if you hit a wall or something, you'll bounce off it and fall down. Otherwise, you hold the A button, and he'll like spaghetti slurp himself up the hook. And usually climb onto whatever platform you've hooked it on. And I gotta say, man, for the first 4 or 5 levels of the game, I really, really enjoyed that. I thought that was such a refreshing take on platforming. And there's almost like some puzzle aspect to it at times, where you're trying to figure out, like, if you could jump. Frankly, I think if you could jump, the game would be too easy. Like, if you could jump, it'd be so simple, right? But like, there's one level where you're in like a sewer, like water's coming out of pipes, and it pushes you around. And there's a couple of aspects. There's a couple of instances where you need to like climb up the level, and it's not as simple as just shooting your grappling hook straight up and grabbing a platform and pulling yourself up to it. You need to like shoot it at an angle to catch the ceiling above you, then swing off of it. Then while you're mid swing off the hook, shoot it up to grab the next one on top of you. Like, you almost feel like Spider-Man, like climbing up.
It's got a little bit of the Spider-Man aspect, not all the time. It doesn't do it to such a degree where it feels like, oh no, I got to do another sequence of like Tarzan, Spider-Man bullshit. But what I was noticing, because I was watching a video of somebody doing the full playthrough of the game again, just to like kind of remind myself. And as I'm watching, it highlighted to me something I hadn't noticed when I was younger. So it's not like Mega Man. Mega Man is about hard platforming. It is about fighting and like all of these kind of things. It's also not like a bullet. This game is not that. This game is also not a bullet hell. It's not like Contra, where it's just like you're just trying to dodge everything. This game feels like a platformer and a shooting game that is like puzzle based, where every encounter you're coming across, it's not that it's like just so many things coming at you. It's more like, oh, I have to get into the right position to kill this guy or to get around this. And it's not that it's like high intensity. It's just like you really have to be thoughtful of how you use this grapple hook to get around. And because there are some guys like, man, you can't fight him the one way, but if you can get around him and get to the other side, you can take him out. Or, so it's a little bit different. You can come to each thing and think your way through it, and it's not necessarily about fast reflexes all the time, like say Mega Man would be.
Agreed. Yeah, I found it to be a very refreshing take on the genre. To like, it is a little bit more slow paced, and it is very methodical, and everything has got to be very intentional. And like, it's one of those games that like, once you know, puzzle's a good term. It's a very, very loosely like it's a very loose puzzle, because once you know how to hook and how to climb walls and how to get into and out of areas, you could probably speedrun this game in no time. Like, once you know the ins and outs. The only place that the grappling hook started to lose me, and anyone that was watching this stream, like we got about as angry as old Adam gets these days on this one stream.
Can I guess?
Please.
Can I guess what you're about to say?
Yeah.
Is it like they would have 3 spotlights in a row, and you had to swing from one to another to another?
That's where
it was just that. And that was just like it's just a square that you could connect onto, not like a whole roof or a wall or whatever.
It started there, because like, if you've not played it, the first few levels, there's very little penalty for messing up your grappling. There are some spikes you can fall on, but like most of the time, it's just get up, try again. You don't lose a life. It's not the end of the world.
Yeah, and there might be an enemy down there that you have to shoot or whatever, but there's not a lot of like bottomless pits. There's not a lot of
where you're talking about is where it starts to get to the point where like they're like, okay, like it's like we're taking the training wheels off the bike now. Like you're a few levels in, you better be good at this hook because now there is very little room for error. And if you fuck up with this hook, you fall to your death and charge. Like you can lose all your lives in 90 seconds if you're not good with this grappling hook. Like it can happen very, very fast. So I started to get mad in there. And then where it really hit a boiling point for me, there is this level where it's not even that you're falling into a bottomless pit. You're outside climbing a building and it's almost like Donkey Kong. The walls are green behind you and there's these villains throwing these like spike balls at you. And you need to climb up. And the only way to avoid touching these spikes, because you can't jump. So the only way to avoid these spike balls is either to walk onto the springs in the ground that bounce you over them or to use your grappling hook to grab the ceiling and get over them. And David, I died on that level. So no other point in this. Like once I finally got past that, I beat the rest of the game fairly simply. Like I died, but nowhere near. Like I died on that Donkey Kong level. And I'll tell you, I went from like, I was going to give this game like a 9 to like, which maybe that might be a bad reference because it's a Hitler thing, but like I was going to give this game like a very high score. And then I was like, oh, I'm failing this game. I don't want it. I'm so mad. I was playing it on my NES Classic and the cord for the NES Classic is like 18 inches long. And I was saying on my stream, I'm like, it's a good thing this cord's not longer because if it was, this controller would be gone right now. Like I was so mad. And to this moment, I don't give a fuck what anyone says. I don't like that level. The rest of it, I'm fine with. Even those spotlights, I was like, I've played enough NES games. I know all about NES Tough. I know about how, because again, you can beat this game in 20 minutes. Like this game, you need to get good. And I get it. Like if you can beat a game in 20 minutes and it doesn't constantly kill you, like no kid's going to buy it because you're going to beat it in a day, right? So
20 minutes not right. It is an hour because I
just mean that like you're beating it in an afternoon easily.
Yes,
like easily, if you know how to do it, right?
Yeah.
So it needs to kill you, just like every other stupid NES Tough game does. I never take points off games for being NES Tough. I don't have a problem with that. But that fucking Donkey Kong level, do you know the level I'm talking about? Like,
I'm trying to think now.
It's insane.
I did just
you can't even see the little spike orbs until they're coming at you. And by the time they're coming at you, you can't grapple the ceiling and get up fast enough. Like you have to almost just get into it's almost like a rhythm. Like you almost just have to be like, okay, it's been 3 seconds. I better grapple because it's coming in a second. And I was getting and I did eventually crack the code and I save stated. I had to save state. I'm not ashamed to admit I save stated. I got through it, but I was like, I was fuming at that level. My God.
And that's to really think about that one. Okay. We'll keep going, but I'm going to,
It was the only time I really had a gripe with the grappling hook. Even the part you talked about where you need to swing from spotlight to spotlight with the bottomless pit underneath, that is very tough. And I was getting irritated with that because there are points where you need to grapple hook like a lower light and then you do the retract thing to pull yourself up on it. But the second your guy is on top of it, he's falling off the side because it's like a sphere. And so like you need to get very good at the second your feet are on top of that, you hit that button and shoot the grappling hook to the next one. You've got about a third of a second to shoot your hook and grab the next one. And at first that was making me mad, but as I practiced it, I was like, no, this is no different than 3/4 of the other NES games we've all played. Like, of course it'll wreck you at first, but if you put in your reps, you can figure this out. Like you can get it. But that Donkey Kong area, man, oh my God, I was so heated. Oh, I'm getting mad right now just thinking about it. That one level.
So, what I also thought was interesting about this game, compared to it had the map aspect to it. Like Mario 3 had that as well, but it's the idea that you would have this overview of the whole thing, and as you're going along, you can go into these like communication rooms, and you can find out information of like, oh, this item is in this zone and that is over in that zone. And you got to like try to keep track of some of this to like, okay, I need to make sure I go to this level to grab this thing before I go over here. And so it's a little bit like a Metroidvania kind of game, but not quite that degree.
But I love that. You know what? Here, let me, because I have to get my ad read in before a certain amount of the time's gone, or else they get mad at me. So let's do
Yeah,
that.
okay.
And then I want to talk about that map because I want to praise the hell out of the map. So let me
Yeah.
let me keep my bills on. Let somebody come in and pedal aware. We'll play an old retro game ad, and then when we get back, we're gonna dive into the map. So
Okay.
remember the game. Return after these messages. We'll be right back.
We invited an expert team to our laboratory to give us their opinions of Disney's DuckTales video game from Capcom.
Yes. Awesome.
You'll have exciting adventures helping Scrooge McDuck escape danger and become the richest duck in the world.
Cool. Totally hot. Way radical, man. Excellent. It's a quacker. Oh!
Disney's DuckTales game for your Nintendo Entertainment System by Capcom.
Okay, before the break, we were talking about that map system. Dude, I agree. Listen, and I want to make it clear, I don't hate the grappling hook. I thought it was great for the most part. It was just that Donkey Kong level that made me angry. Other than that, I thought it was awesome. But the map system, like you said, you start the game off where in like area 1 or whatever, and the areas all have like numbers on them, and some of them are levels where you go in and you do the side-scrolling, platforming, shooting, grappling hooking, and like some of them are almost like Zelda 2 towns where you like go in and talk to people and get items. And like you said, as you progress through the game, you pick up new items, and sometimes it won't let you progress any further until you pick up all the items and all that kind of stuff. I thought that was, I will say that once I beat the game, I realized that there's maybe not quite as much freedom. Like I thought you could play it in pretty much any order you want, and it's more linear than it appears. But that doesn't take away from the fact that it's a really, really inventive idea. Because that's one of those things they didn't have to do. They could have made it as simple as once you beat a level, then you go to a village, then you go to a level. And like just like every other video game in the history of the world, you just progress from one level to the next level to the next level. That they gave you this map to steer around on, and you could kind of tackle them in an order you want to and stuff. Very, very clever. I loved the map in this game. I thought it was awesome.
Like it's going back to that thing of like, it's kind of like another puzzle. Like it is like, oh, I need to make sure I grab this thing here in order to access this spot over here. Like one of the neutral zones where like, there's no fighting or anything. You can talk to enemies. There's like you actually meet one of the main bad guys in one of these neutral zones
or whatever his name is. Yeah.
Yeah, which like is kind of wild because like in a lot of games, the only time you see the bad guy is when you're like about to fight him, and that's like the only time you have a chance to interact with him. But in this, like, you see him in the neutral zone, he can't fight you, you can't fight him. And if you do try to fight in the neutral zone, suddenly people start coming at you. Like so many people start attacking you.
Yeah,
but,
you get swarmed. Yeah.
You get swarmed. But so sometimes you need to like get this pass to enter this one neutral zone. You need to go into the neutral zone to get a radio that allows you to hear the communications in certain levels and everything. And so you're like slowly gathering all your supplies that you need to do to progress forward. And
it was a nice layer to the game that wasn't necessary. Like they really could have just made it, you play through 12 levels, you beat the game and it's over. That they added these villages where you get a little bit more story. You get to talk to some of the villains. You get to go in and optionally collect new weapons, new power-ups, that kind of stuff. And you get tips. Like you'll go into an area and you're looking for that Joe guy or whatever. And you'll go into an area. Yeah. And they'll be like, I think Joe got taken to area 7. And so now you're like, when you get out of that area or get out of the village and you're back on the world map, you're like, hey, I guess I'm headed toward area 7. Yeah. And you start trying to figure out how to get there and stuff like that. I thought it was the only gripe I had with the whole map system was I was stuck right at the end of the game. I couldn't go up to the last couple of levels. It kept saying I didn't have enough power. And I was like, what the fuck am I missing? And then someone in my chat told me, and I had to look it up. I had like a more powerful gun, the rocket launcher or something. Yes. And then I had to go back to one world where there were these like white walls, blow the walls up with the rocket launcher and get through to get the last radio to give me the power to get through. And I just felt like I was like, at the time I was like, oh, this game's going to get ripped a new ass for this. Cause I was so mad that I had missed it. But now I'm like, nah, I probably should have just been paying more attention. I'm not going to yell at it for that. It was probably my fault.
Well, and that's the thing, like going into those communication rooms, because there's also when you do the communication rooms, there's like the safe version, which is the I forget what they called it, but
Oh, like
where you
communicator or
basically
whatever.
the communication, and then you're talking to your people or
Yeah.
whatever. And then
Yeah.
the other option is wiretapping. And sometimes the wiretapping goes fine. And sometimes the wiretapping like gives you information, but then suddenly guys start descending into the room. And the first time that happened to me, it like spooked me and just and
Me
like
too. Yeah.
like it's like the alarms, the klaxons are just going and just spooked me real good.
Yeah,
But
it's
like
rad that you wiretap and yeah, sometimes the enemies are like, "Hey, it's him," and like they
yeah,
realize that you're talking to them, and then they start attacking you and stuff. That
yeah,
like
which
it,
is
I
it
thought it
makes
was
it a
very
gamble. It makes it a
yeah yeah
gamble to use that option.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's admittedly it wasn't as deep as I thought it was going to be. Like when I first
Yeah.
started playing the game, I thought like, "Oh my god, is this like like have you ever played Dick Tracy on the NES?"
No, 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 no.
Okay. It's dumb, but like you have to go around and collect clues and collect evidence and figure out where you're going next and stuff. And I thought maybe it was going to be like that, where I was like, man, is it going to tell me to go to like area 12 and then I'll get there and they'll be like, man, you got to go back to area 6. And it wasn't quite as like as deep as I expected it to be, but it didn't matter. I still really enjoyed it because it was just like a nice little addition in the middle of these levels. You go into these radio areas and you get tips from your own team and sometimes you get information from the back. It can even be stupid little things like they'll be giving away like weaknesses of the bosses and things.
Yes. Yeah.
And like I thought that was again little things that weren't necessary, but
Yeah.
they help make the game stand out. It's seasoning on the steak. It was really well done in that sense. Because I every time I went to a new level, I couldn't wait to get to the radio rooms and see what they had
Yeah.
to say.
Yeah. Well, and what I also thought was kind of interesting because like it made it feel like less like a Mario Brothers where it's like, oh, the princess is in the last level, right? So but there's like a story element. Things are like kind of scattered around. Like you rescue Super Joe not in the last level. You rescue him in one of the other places, and
Yeah.
then he joins you for your last mission. So there's like a sense of story built throughout the whole thing, and in an evolving kind of situation, which I thought was really um, different, or
It's
like
pretty ambitious.
it
Very ambitious for an NES game. Like to
yes,
put
it's a
something
step
like
up
that in
from a
there.
lot of games
Yeah.
where you're not even really like you have a sense, especially if you looked at the overall map, you're like, oh, that you start in the bottom left and probably that one in the top right is the last level, and you'd
Yeah.
be right, but it's not there's a lot more surprises, I suppose, along the way
It's a hike
in
to
the
get
story.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Another thing I really liked about the map too is every time you get to so like all the areas are these like numbered squares with these like white little lines in between. And you're in like a helicopter and like say you're in
Yeah.
area 0 and you want to go to area 1. When you're floating over area zero, it'll say either descend or transfer. And if you pick descend, then you go down into area 0 and play through that level. But if you pick transfer, then it like there are times where you'll be connected to 3 or 4 areas and you can tell it which one you want to go to. And then
Yeah.
whatever one you want to go to, it's like, okay, we're taking off. But while you're flying there, there's these tanks. The enemy tanks are driving around on the paths as well. And if
Yeah.
you happen to make contact with one of them, then it drops you into this like little bonus level where all of a sudden
Yeah.
it's like a top-down Contra level.
Yeah.
And I wish there had been more of those, quite frankly, because I
Yeah.
loved those. They played
Yeah.
so well. Like you're just running around, shooting everything that moves, and it's great. You can use your grappling hook in there, and you
Yeah.
spin it around, and it knocks enemies away from you. It's awesome.
Yeah. It's an interesting, different style of gameplay where it is. I wouldn't say it's the same as a bullet hell because it's way easier than that, but it's a different vibe than the whole rest of the game because it's top down and it's you're moving about it in a different way, which is just like changing it from the puzzle
Yeah.
style of
Oh,
the regular levels.
but
By the way, I just pulled it up on YouTube, the thing, and I like scanned around. I'm like, I found the level that you're talking about because I'm like Donkey Kong level. What are you talking about? Oh, and I see what you're talking about. And Adam, I think I have to be honest with you. I did not have that big of a problem with this area.
Oh
Like
my god.
that's not a thing that stood out
No,
to
no, no,
me.
no. It could
I
be user error for sure, but I got stuck there, bro. That was my like Bart versus the Space Mutants is always the one I go back to as my guilty pleasure NES game, and I
yeah.
love it. But there's a part in level 4 at the museum where you have to fight this dinosaur, and jumping on him is just hell. And
Yeah.
it like can ruin a run for me. And that's this level for me in Bionic Commando. Like I was like, I struggled there like I have never struggled before. It was brutal. And
Yeah,
oh
you
my
definitely
god.
it's definitely like a timing thing and getting into the groove of it and just like it's like a little bit of patience kind of a thing. But like I may have had maybe struggled a little bit like the first time I encountered it, but I did not remember it as like this is the worst part of the
Oh.
game.
Well, and what's frustrating, dude, is that like I died there so many times, and it's like I don't know, give or take about halfway through the game, and I
Yeah,
died there so much, and
yeah.
I know this is a flaw in my gaming resume is that like as I get mad at something, I rush and then I die more, and then the more I die, the madder I get, the faster I go, the more I die. It's a vicious circle, and I was like,
And
when I finally,
that's one you can't rush. You really do
no, you
have to
can't.
like
Yo, you can't.
yeah.
Absolutely. And that's probably a lot of my problem. And I was like, dude, if this is killing me, what in the hell is going to happen to me in the end of the game? But then
Yeah,
nothing else in
especially
the
if it's
game.
halfway through. Yeah, I
Yeah.
can yeah.
But then nothing else in the game even came close to touching me like that. So I was like, this was clearly me. But that area,
Yeah.
man, I almost had a fucking aneurysm trying to get through that area. I was going to lose my mind. My God, that was so
Yeah.
frustrating. Um, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, so I like the top down. Oh, plus every time you play one of those top down areas, you seem to get another continue. You pick up the wings and you get another like. By the time I
Yeah.
got to the end of the game, I had like 9 continues, and I was like, well, I'm never like. There was no way I was dying at this point. Like I had so many
Yeah.
continues by the end.
It's
Um,
like the Mario Brothers issue where it's just like, yeah, okay, I have 99 lives. I don't die that often, you know. Yeah.
yeah, that and like, and you and I were saying this a little while back when we were talking about the difficulty. Like this is one of those games where uh once you start to memorize it, the challenge decreases like rapidly, and you don't really have to fight that many enemies if you don't want to. Like most of
No.
them can die with one hit, especially once you get the rocket launcher. We'll talk about the items in a second.
Yeah.
Once you get a hold of the rocket launcher, everything is dead in
Yeah.
like a hit. But most of the
Yeah.
enemies, like you can get by them pretty quickly. Even when you get into the boss rooms in every area where
Yeah.
you need to blow up like the big computer robot thing,
Yeah.
like a lot of them have bosses in them. Like there was the one that has the shield and you can't hit him from the front. You need to get behind him.
Yeah.
And he gave me so much trouble until I realized like I don't even have to kill him. I just have to get up there and blow up the robot machine and
Yeah.
then it's dead.
Yeah. Oh,
Like,
yeah. Which I do kind of appreciate because it's like, well, is the point to kill everybody or is the point to kill the machine? It's to kill the machine. And so, yeah, that's
yeah.
because I remember some of those levels where there's just, you know, probably about 15 people in there or whatever. And
Oh,
it's
it's
like, yeah, you
insane.
have to shoot some, but you don't have to fight them all. You just have to get to the end and shoot the big computer at the end as quickly as possible before they get you, and you're
Yeah.
fine. Yeah,
Yeah.
which I
And
do appreciate.
actually, if I as well. Like, I like the option of like, hey, if you want to go and kill everybody, go. Like, we'll keep feeding you Nazis. Keep killing them. If you want to kill them,
Yeah,
go nuts. But they're like, if you don't want to, just go blow up the machines and beat the game, which I'm fine with as well. One minor criticism I had was I was a little bit disappointed that it was like the same machine in every level. Like I would
yeah.
have liked to have seen a little bit of variety on those like big machines you had to blow up, like a different because like
Mhm.
once get on that middle platform, and then all you
Yeah,
have to do is watch out for soldiers dropping on your head, and you just shoot the thing and it's dead. Like I would have liked
yeah,
it just got a little bit. It was the same like end of level in air quotes boss over and over again.
yeah,
So, but that it is whatever. That's not a big deal.
yeah,
I also liked how when you killed the enemies, they dropped those bullets.
yeah.
And
Oh,
at
and
first,
that was your experience points. Yeah,
yeah, I didn't know. Like, I always say this to everybody. I'm telling you, like, I the lesson I've learned over 7 years of this podcast. If you're playing a retro game for the first time, we all bitch about how modern games have these unskippable tutorial levels and everything. Some of these games could really use tutorial levels, and they don't have them. Read the instruction manuals. They're easy to find online. These games are designed to be played with reading the instruction manuals. And I found the instruction
yes.
manual for this game, and then I realized that picking up these bullets are like your XP, and like once you pick up
Which give you
5,
more health and everything, which is fundamental.
Oh boy, isn't that like you start out like one hit and you're done. And then like 5 bullets and you get an extra hit. And then like 15 bullets, you get an extra hit. And like it gets to the point where you need to pick up like 40 bullets to get an extra hit. But like by the end of the game, I had like 6 or 7 health. And like I was, and then once you get a potion, like you're untouchable. Like you have so much. The only way you're dying is if you suck at the Donkey Kong area or if you're falling off the screen. Because you have so much health by the end. So,
but it is like, there is a lot of things where stuff is not really labeled. Like for instance, when you head into a level, you have to choose your gun. You have to choose your kind of a protection item, a support item, and then your communicator.
Yeah.
And but none of it's labeled. And some of the items, like, you're like, I don't know what this is supposed to do. You wouldn't know unless you were paying attention to when it gave it to you or whatever.
Yeah, it's very that's such an NES thing. Yeah, like you get items and like we're not going to tell you what they do, dude. I'll tell you right now, David. Like I beat the game, I still don't know what a couple of those items did. Like I never used a couple of them. Like there was one I got that was like a permit or something. I never used it. I don't know, or if I did, I don't know what. I don't know how I used it.
It allowed you access to one of the areas, like one of the levels, one of the neutral areas.
Okay.
And then all you had to do was beat a level that was already before it. So like, you know what I mean? You were not likely to go to Area 14 before getting the thing in Area 6 kind of thing.
Right. Okay, that makes sense then. There was like heavy boots or something, which I assumed decreased your knockback, but I never used them.
No, you can kill enemy soldiers by swinging. By kicking them in the face.
Handy.
Yeah,
pretty handy.
Yeah, but this is exactly what we're talking about, right?
Yeah, I should have read the whole manual. Apparently, goddammit.
Well, because I know I was like, as I was watching the playthrough, I'm like, what does the pendant helmet and bulletproof vest do? Like, is it adding more health or whatever? And it's just the crucifix, stops the first bullet attack. The helmet stops 3 attacks. The bulletproof vest stops every other one. Like, but it doesn't tell you that in the game. It would be in the manual or the. Yeah.
It was great. Like that's another one of those things where like it's not a criticism because it's the NES. The NES is like I love the NES as much as everybody else. It's got limits. Yeah, like it's cool that it gives you all these weapons and all these items, and then it gives you the option at the beginning of every level to change your loadout, and change your items, and change your weapons. And there's like, dude, one of the coolest things this game does is like the very first level or one of the very first levels, you talk to the radio guy and he's like, get the smart bomb before you go to Area 3 or whatever. And then you get the smart bomb, and then you have to bring it. Obviously, I'm like, well, I guess I'll bring the smart bomb to Area 3 because it's telling me to. And then as soon as you go into that area, everything goes pitch black. But then if you hit start to use your smart bomb, it like goes off and sets a light, and then you can see again. Yeah. And I was like, and so I thought it was going to be more like that, where it was like, hey, make sure you bring this to this level. But it is very much like, but not necessarily always, but by and large, it's basically saying like, hey, whatever the most powerful radio is you have, just bring that all the time.
Yeah,
like for the most part, Yeah. The only time I really found myself changing my loadout was my gun.
Yes.
And
because that makes a difference in some levels for sure.
It does. And I'll tell you, we already said it, like once you get a hold of that rocket launcher, that's your gun by and large. Because that thing kills everything in one shot. It's insane. It's insane.
And you get it fairly early on too, like relatively speaking. Because it does way more damage. It doesn't fire as often. Because you have like the normal gun, which you start with, and then like the wide cannon, which is like 3 shots and like kind of like a spray sort of.
It's a very, very neutered Contra spread gun.
Yes,
like it is very weak Contra spread, which was the gun I wanted to use for the whole game because I'm team Contra spread gun all day. But that thing is just. Yeah, it's too soft. And then you get the rocket launcher, which is just this giant circle in front of you that just goes through enemies and kills you're killing tanks in like one shot and stuff. I was like, man, this thing is fantastic. The only other gun I used was the one that's like a T where it shoots like up, down, and in front of you. There's
because
this one level
handy. There's like certain levels where shooting through the floor would be very handy. Yeah,
dude. The level where you have to climb the mountain and you're fighting the spiders and trying to avoid those fucking plants that come out of the ground and eat you. Oh my God. I died on those so many times. And then there's a level a little bit later where there's these like helicopter guys above you.
Yeah.
And if you have any gun other than that T1, like you can't hit them.
You can't do it.
You can't hit them because you can't aim your gun. You can only shoot straight in front of you.
Yeah.
And it's so hard to grapple up onto the ceiling and pull yourself up and shoot them before they hit you. And if they hit you, you get knocked off your grappling hook and go back down.
And since they're flying, like they're constantly change elevation, and you can't change elevation reliably because you can only, you can't jump, right? Like,
yeah,
it's the whole thing.
Like, it is funny that this dude is like this. Like, I'm looking at the cover right now. Like, the dude's clearly in pretty good shape. He's just like last action.
Well, he's a
hero
soldier, right?
Yeah.
He's like a specialty ops guy. Yeah.
And I'm like, bro, you can't jump. Like, you get stuck on barrels that only come up to like your waist. And I'm like, you can't climb on that barrel. Like, I know you can't because you need the grappling hook. But I'm like, you can't help me out and just climb on that barrel so we can shoot this fucking guy. Like, you're supposed to be the super soldier and you can't aim anywhere other than directly in front of you, sir. Like, come on now.
Well, maybe he also went through and had a tor's pec, and so he can't lift his arms above.
Fair enough. Yeah, maybe.
He can't reach up at all. So he's like, I don't know what to tell you, man. It's got to do straight ahead.
Yeah, maybe you're right. You're right. I should shut up. Maybe he's hiding something under that vest. Fair enough. Like, obviously, and that's like the grappling hook was like, it was a pretty cool idea. I thought it was like a little gimmicky at times, but a cool concept. The guns were like a cool concept. Like, the game is very well designed that, like, if you were to add jumping or you were to add the ability to aim your gun in different directions, it would have broke the game. Like, the whole game is built around this very immobile super soldier.
Yeah.
And it works really well.
They've set up all these puzzles and these scenarios of like, okay, you have these. Can you bring the right item with you to solve this issue? Because with jumping, that would solve so many of the issues, and so it's like a different kind of gameplay. You can't just go into it thinking that this is Mega Man, where every level you can always handle it with whatever. You can do Mega Man out of order if you want. But this game is like, no, you have to have your equipment in the right order and go to the right levels, and you're paying attention to what people are saying, and it forces you to pay attention to the story too, because you have to talk to everybody, and you're finding out all these pieces about like, the evil Master D who like had this special weapon, and you're gonna the general is going to like use it and everything, and then you find out later that he's trying to resurrect Master D, who is Hitler, and then Hitler comes alive, immediately kills the guy that's been the bad guy the entire game, and now Hitler's your bad guy. And but you do that because you're forced to read and like seek out information. You want to talk to the NPCs. You want to, because there's not too many that it's like overwhelming. There's enough,
Yeah, dude. There was one where I was like, I ended up looking it up. So there was one part where they were like, make sure you get the machine gun.
Yeah,
and then they were like, talk to Informant 3 or something. And
yes.
And I remember reading that, and then I kind of forgot about it. And then I got to the village where I talked to this guy, and he's like, I'm Informant 1. Do you need a machine gun? And I was like, yes. And he's like, get it. And I go into his room, and there's a machine gun there, and I pick it up. And then I leave, and I go to the next level, and the machine gun's not in my inventory. And I'm like, well, that's fucking weird. And then I tried it again, and I'm like, that's fucking weird. So then I'm embarrassed that I Googled it.
Yeah.
I'm like, what am I doing wrong? And then it was like, remember it said talk to Informant 3. And then I realized you go further in the village, and there's 2 other guys that are like, I'm Informant 2, I'm Informant 3. Do you want a machine gun? And I was like, that's clever. Like, I like that it's making you pay attention. If you're illiterate, you can't beat this game. Like, they're forcing kids to learn to read.
What's also funny about that machine gun that is apparently so good is that it actually sucks. It's such a terrible game.
It's awful. That was what pissed me off, was I finally got it, and I'm like, okay, my rocket launcher kills everything, and my 3-way gun shoots everywhere. So I was like, I can't even imagine what this gun does. And I was like, what a piece of crap. Doesn't do anything.
And you get it so late in the game. Like, this has got to be really good. And all it does well is shoot really fast. but it doesn't matter if it like only shoots like 5 feet in front of you. Like,
Yeah,
what's the point?
Give me my one shot every 3-second rocket launcher that kills everything over this piece of crap. Yeah, useless. The only other thing I really wanted to praise quickly was a lot of people brought it up, and frankly, at this point, I've come to expect great soundtracks from my NES Capcom games.
Yes,
It's got a great soundtrack.
Yes,
it's got great music, man.
It's following. It's made by Capcom again, like who did all the Mega Man games, right? So it's just like it's got a Mega Man vibe to it.
It very much. I was thinking that while I was playing it, the music, like I know it's not the same person doing all the music for all these like Capcom games or whatever, but
No.
I thought this music, it sounds like Mega Man with like a military undertone because it's got a lot more like drum beats and stuff to it.
Yes.
But it still has a very like let's kick some ass Mega Man feel to it. I really enjoyed the music.
The fast pace,
yeah,
the fast tempo.
I mean, Capcom did DuckTales too, and like Chip and Dale, like they have great music. Like Capcom games have good music. Dude, if I could just sidebar for 1 second, we were talking about this on the stream the other day. Capcom might be a top 5 third-party game developer in all of gaming. Like they have been around for like 40 years. They make so many great games. Like in the NES, they were making tons. Now, like everyone knows them for like Monster Hunter and Resident Evil and Street Fighter, obviously Mega Man. Like Capcom, they've kept their nose clean. Like everybody hates EA now. Everybody hates BioWare now. Everybody hates Ubisoft now. Tip them. I just would say, like, I am a Capcom fan. Like when I see Capcom's name on a game, I'm like, it's probably going to be decent. They have a great reputation, and they've earned that reputation.
Yeah, well, and so that's the thing. There's not too many companies from like as far back as the NES like that, that have survived and also continue to have like decent games. Like, I don't think. I feel like every Resident Evil game is pretty good. Every Street Fighter game, like people have their favorites, and some people don't. But it's not like they're just putting out stinkers, like absolute garbage. Like,
no, they've earned their place. Like they
have that Nintendo quality. Like where Nintendo, like every Nintendo made game is like, no, it's good. It may not be your favorite, but like it's well designed and it feels like Capcom.
Like they're not broken. Yeah. Capcom, you put some respect on Capcom's name. Like they've earned their place, and I have a lot of time for them. And this is a rant I've gone on this show countless times, specifically with the NES, but developers were so quick to just push out as many games as they could on the NES because it was selling so much, and they were like, let's just make it. Like, I know they were allowed to make 5 a year, but then they were just like forming extra shell companies to make more, and it was like, let's make more games, and the games where they put a little bit of extra TLC in it are the ones that really get their flowers on this show all these years later. Because I look back and I'm like, and this is one of those games. You didn't have to put the map in. You didn't have to put all the story in. You didn't have to put all these things where you talk to people and learn things about other parts of the game. The radio where you can wiretap and listen to the villains and everything like that. None of that was necessary. They could have made this a simple 12 to 15 level, play it through and you're done game, and it probably literally would have been just as successful, because it's not like this is like a banner marquee franchise for Capcom, but they really were just like, no, we want to make a game that doesn't suck. We want to try some new things. And I was very impressed. In an era where so many NES games were similar, they really swung for the fences with those. When they tried some new, not all of it worked in my opinion, but enough of it did that there's a memorable game here.
Yeah, well, and precisely, like there's no other game like it. It is funny enough. Now I'm thinking about it. It's kind of like with every Mario game. There's a different shtick to it, right? Whether it's like the hat or this the water gun or whatever. Like that's what Mario does, and to a degree, this Bionic Commando with the grappling hook, that is its gimmick. This is what sets it apart from all of the other side-scrolling platformers, right? And then they're like, okay, well, if this is our shtick, let's build the game around it. Okay, well, that may mean like let's make these more puzzle-like encounters.
I loved it. Yeah, if I had played this back in the day, I think a password system would have been nice. Not the end of the world, but it would have been nice, because it's not a long game now, but when you're learning how to play it, a password would have come in kind of handy. But that's fine.
Yeah, I suppose. I think of it in the same way as like Mario 1, like because it is about an hour to play the whole game front to back. If like assuming you know exactly where you're going, kind of a thing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But
Have you played the remake, the more modern one from like 2010 or whatever it was?
because they released it on Xbox, and I played it very briefly, like I rented it, kind of a thing. And I more or less, I one of the bonus features they had on that game was a remake of this game, actually, with
Yeah, yeah.
redone graphics or whatever. But I don't really remember a whole lot about it, kind of a thing. I did have
I
a
was
lot
just
of time to.
I'm intrigued now, but yeah, obviously
Yeah.
I'd never played it. Well, I think I gotta be honest, man. I thought this was gonna be a 45-minute episode. This is what you and I. This is what we do. This is what we do on RTG. We fucking we stretch.
I drag it out of you. Can I mention the one thing? One of
Of
my
course.
other core memory of this game was that when you finally get to the Hitler encounter, is like they don't really prep you a whole lot. They tell you to have your rocket launcher or whatever, and he's escaping in his helicopter or whatever.
Oh
And so
my god.
and you're
Please.
expecting a big boss fight, right?
Yeah.
You're gearing yourself up, and all it is you kind of like swing down, and you are dropping all the way down to where the helicopter is, and you land, and suddenly you're just shot by the gun of the helicopter. Like you have no chance to do anything. And I remember when that first happened, I'm like, what? Like I shot it once, and then he killed me instantly, despite all the health I had. Well, like what happened? And then you realize you have to shoot it perfectly into the window of the cockpit. You had to one shot it as you're dropping. So you had to time it as you're going past that window to shoot the rocket. And when you do it, blows up the whole thing, and your encounter, and that's where the whole melting of the face of Hitler comes from.
Yeah.
It was just like that was the weirdest boss fight I've ever had. Like that was the end of the game. That was the last boss fight.
I was so mad at that because you fight that robot where you need to like grapple hook up and be able to shoot the same thing you be shooting everything, right? And that's a fine boss fight. That's I died there a couple of times. That's just the end of I was getting a little mad at it, but that's fine. That's just the end of the game. I expect that. But yeah, then you get through, and then that guy's like, take this missile launcher, and then he's like, yeah, jump over this edge and you got to shoot the cockpit, and then you jump over this edge and there's no warning, you're just falling, and all of a sudden, like you said, you've got about a half a second window on your way down to shoot the cockpit, otherwise you land on the ground, die, and that's it. And I was my last life. I beat that boss, jumped, missed that shot, died, and I loaded my save state, and I was like, the fuse was lit again, and I was like, what kind of horse fuckery is this? What kind of bullshit? And it's such an easy thing once you know what to do. Like you said, you're expecting this big fight. It's like, no, you just have to time your shot right and hit it once in the glass and then climb out and the game's over. But I was like, what the hell is I totally forgot about that. What a joke that was.
What an anticlimactic
kind of God.
Like, I mean, the redeeming feature is you get to see Hitler's face melt, but that's about it. And
it's
then
just, oh fuck.
And then you had to do the escape. You had the 1 minute to escape, and like your last test of your grappling abilities or whatever. But yeah, that stands out to me as like, what a wild end to any kind of game. Any last boss fights.
If I had been on my last life as a kid with no save states, and I beat that boss finally, and then I jumped and missed that shot and had to start over again, my mom would have taken my NES away. Because I would have lost my mind. Like,
you know what? That's how it happened for me. That's exactly how it happened. Like, it was my last life. I died, and I'm like, what? That was it? I didn't even get a chance. So I had to get back there and then try again. And it still took you a couple of tries, kind of a thing, or whatever. But like the very first time, I died there, and I had to redo the whole game again. Or whatever.
It is literally, it is that helicopter part is literally the Krusty the Clown. What the hell was that? Like, that is literally what that was at the end of the game. Absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, that's why that was the other memory that I'm like, I need to commiserate with people about that moment, because it's such a wild choice to have for in the game, kind of a thing.
What a damn joke. I remember that now. What a damned joke that helicopter thing was. But nonetheless, though, I still I am a fan. Like, I get why you have been pumping its tires for so long. And you're not the only one. There is a small but vocal portion of our community that is like, when are we getting our Bionic Commando episode? And admittedly, like, I'm telling you, that name, I kind of wrote the game off. Like, when you guys would mention it, I'm like, guys, it's such a bland, like, I don't care.
But
and then when I finally played it, I'm like, it's
Bionic is like a fancy sci-fi name, but from like the 60s. You know what I mean? It's like such a dated sci-fi term that, like, by the 80s is like, well, and especially now, it's like, who cares? Like, that does not sound fancy at all. That's
not at all. It's
no.
Am I crazy to say? Because, like, I'm on the Wikipedia page right now, and it says, like, yeah, it didn't sell particularly well, which, you know, whatever, that's fine.
Oh yeah, I don't think it was a hit for them.
No. I genuinely think if you had called this game Hitler's Resurrection Top Secret, I think it sells more. Like, if you would, let's rewind time, and you and the listeners of this podcast are like, blank, when are you going to talk about Hitler's Resurrection Top Secret on the NES? I'm like, I guess we kind of, that's, wow, okay. But instead it's like, it's Bionic Commando. And I'm like, Bionic Commando sounds like somebody came up with that on an elevator ride up to the pitching floor. Like, they were like, we need a name. Bionic Commando. That's it.
No, it sounds like one of those TV shows from the 70s where it was all puppets or whatever. Mm-hmm. You know, like one of those weird ones.
I used to love that show. What was it? Thunderbirds?
Thunderbirds?
I used to love
Bionic Commando is like the follow-up to Thunderbirds is what it sounds like.
Man, I don't like, that's a great way to start bringing this podcast in for a landing. I don't remember the last time I thought about Thunderbirds. I used to love that show. Oh my God. Man, that's what
Bionic makes me remind me of that
totally
era.
I get it now. 100%, dude. And for those of you that don't know what we're talking about, look up Thunderbirds. That was Team America World Police before Team America World Police. It was Thunderbirds.
Yeah, that's what they were aping when they
100%,
made that movie.
Yeah. Shout out I used to watch Thunderbirds, Spider-Man, and Adam West Batman all the time when I was a kid. They'd always be on YTV, and it was all those old shows. It was good stuff.
Yeah.
All right, are we good? You ready to score this thing?
Yeah, I think so.
How do we score this thing? How many levels are there? That would work.
Let's see here.
I should have brought up the level, the Bionic Commando map.
Like, I guess there's technically 19 zones.
Yeah, let's go with that. 19 zones. Let's do that. You are the visiting team, David. Out of 19 zones, how many zones would you give Bionic Commando?
I think it's going to be probably right around that 14, which is the neutral zone where I think you get like a weapon or something like that.
Yeah.
So there you go. 14, I feel.
That's pretty close to where I was too. Yeah. I mean, it's bad. It's because it's bad radio. I'll give it 15, and then we can split.
No. I'm going to say it's 12. 12 is technically the last level of the game. Don't worry about it. The last level of the game is technically Zone 12, where Hitler's face melts, which is kind of like summarizes the whole game. I think that's like, it's not the greatest game, but it has some great moments.
Yeah, it does. You know? I certainly not the worst NES game I've ever played by any stretch.
No,
I liked it. Yeah, and I was planning to buy a copy for my collection, but you are too kind. So that's really bad. Thank you so much. It's so funny that's what, because you had mentioned to me, you're like, dude, I got to see you before we record. I have something for you. And I was like, I can't imagine you giving me something that's going to impact how we record the show. But now it makes a lot more sense. So
yeah, I saw your picture on Instagram with you playing the game. I'm like, well, it's not so much of an emergency anymore. So
no, that's great, because I was going to buy a copy. So thank you, man. That's very cool.
Yeah,
great game. It's good to have you back on the show, man. I'm glad you're doing good, and you're back on your feet. And I'm sorry you have to go back to work, but
yeah, well, you gotta,
every once in a while you draw a bad card.
Yeah.
I already mentioned it, I believe, during the outro that I've already recorded. But you don't just podcast with me; you podcast in other podcasts. Mm-hmm. What else do you have going on?
Well, I'm also part of Quantum Kickflip, which is an actual play podcast of a role playing game called Slug Blaster, where teenagers sneak into other dimensions and get into all sorts of trouble. We have wrapped season 3. You can listen to all 3 seasons. Each one is a different story, and currently we're in the process of making season 4. And what's exciting about that one is I'm going to be the game master for season 4. And I'm taking some inspiration. It's going to be our sports season where, this activity called slug blasting, which is based on skateboard culture. We're going to do one where like I've come up with a whole sports theme to the thing where people are competing against other teams. And of course, you know me, I love pro wrestling. So there's a lot of pro wrestling elements brought into this whole thing. It's going to be like a little bit different than the other season. I'm so excited for it. So we're recording it right now, but it should be out in a couple of months. And in the meantime, you can listen to the old seasons right now.
Beautiful. There's links in the description of this podcast, everybody, so check it out. Still the best name of a podcast. I think it's my favorite name to say.
Yeah,
Quantum
Kickflip. Yeah,
rolls off the tongue. It's good stuff. So check them out. Tell them RTG sent you. David, great to have you back, buddy. Glad you're doing good. And we'll do this. We'll do this again soon, I'm sure.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
That is going to do it for this week's episode. David, good to have you back, my friend. Glad you're feeling well, and thank you so much for taking the time to talk Bionic Commando with me. And thank you for putting Bionic Commando in my ear, because I don't know if I ever would have... I'm not going to say I never would have played it, because there were other people asking for this episode, but you were the champion. You were the one standing behind this game as hard as anybody. So I appreciate you putting it on my radar. I love it when I discover a new NES game that I like. I'm absolutely buying a copy of this for my collection now. Like my physical collection, 100%. What a great game. Good talking to you, buddy. Check out his podcast. You can find links in the description of this episode, presuming he sent them to me, presuming he plugged his podcast, because he's a little bit inside of baseball. I actually record this outro seconds after I finish recording the infamous intro, and then I plug our chat in the middle. So I actually don't know if he plugged his podcast, but he probably did. Quantum Kickflip. It's a good show. Check it out. And thank you for listening. I guess I should say that as well. Thank you, David, for joining me. Thank you for listening to David and I talk. Because if you're hearing this or watching this or whatever the fuck, you gave us a chance. And there's a lot of retro gaming podcasts out there, and you rolled the dice on us, and that warmed my heart. Despite the fact that I struggled today. I'm stumbling all over my words. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. But you still made it to the end. And that makes you a hero in my book. So if you like the show, leave us a good review. I'd really appreciate it. If you didn't like the show, I can't imagine you made it this far. But maybe don't leave us a bad review. Just fucking go listen to something else. That'd be cool. Leave me alone. You could do that if you fucking want to. And if you want more of these, patreon.com/rememberthegame. Pretty much the greatest deal in the history of the internet. Subscriptions start at $3 a month. You get new shows all throughout the week. You get Remember the Game ad-free, all 364 episodes, including the mysterious missing episode number 2. You can vote on the games we cover, join our Discord and more. And it's a great time to vote because all through the month of February, we're running the Pre-March Madness Patreon poll tournament extravaganza, a 64-game tournament with polls every single day. Well, we whittle it down from 64 to a champion, and that game gets an episode of RTG. It's a very, very fun event. Lots of arguing and stuff from the community. It's good times. So if you've ever thought about becoming a Patreon, now is the time to do it. Plus, the Blankies just went live. You can listen to that. And tomorrow, if you are a Patreon, you'll be getting my spoiler-free Silent Hill F review. Have we got anything else to plug, puppy? My girl? Oh, I'm on Twitch. I get on there like once or twice a week. I'm trying to get more consistent with it. I'm kind of a busy dude. Twitch.tv/memberthegame. Member, not remember. Member the game. I've been streaming a lot of WWF No Mercy lately. It's been a good fucking time. So come over there and check that out if you're interested. I don't beg for subs or anything. You can just come watch. It's free. And then there's some Let's Plays on YouTube and all that stuff. You guys know all the work. All right, I'm leaving. I'm going to thank some Patreons and get out of here. Thank you all so much for listening. And we'll be back 7 days from right now with Remember the Game 365 Aladdin for the Sega Genesis. I'm finally going to find out if it is as superior to the SNES version as you all keep telling me that it is. Let's come back in a week and find out if that is the case. All right, thanks for listening, everybody. I'll talk to you in the next one. Cheers, so long, goodbye. Remember the Game is brought to you by our Patreons. I couldn't puke up all the content I churn out every week without all of your support. The following people are at the senior executive vice president level or higher at patreon.com/rememberthegame, and as such, I'm contractually obligated to say all their names as quickly as I can. So, considering how much I've struggled with reading comments and fucking words today, we're just gonna go oldest to newest. That's the easiest one for me, because I am off my game today. So a huge thank you to Remember the Game Hall of Famer, Slick Motherfucking Rick, Make Shamela Magic Money, Sharonic, Jane Nasty 15, Jort King Keegs, Dissect That Dan, Chris Fleury, Andrew Wright, Jordan, Eldest Millennial, Lil Bunny Fufu 89, Angry Ticks, Dave Thompson, No One Cares, Scott Brooks, Aaron Lawson, JSK Fusick, A-Town, Morgan, Zane, Donovan, Ryan Kinchin, Mike Maloney, G9PSX, Mercury 869, Wolfgang, Darren, Andy Hudson, Doogie, Wolf Magic 21, Johnny from Virginia, Squint, Steen Donian, Titan 420, Jeff Bergeron, Randy Barrage, Just a Fish, Smart Food, Popcorn Farts. Fuck, I hate those things. I hate smart food popcorn. It's disgusting. Double Sigma Probation. What a disgusting name. Holmes, Zach Shepard, Captain Black, Silver, 333, Checker 22, Elijah Burns, Discount Psyop, It's That Nerd James, Madam Nutsitch, DBXJ, Jameer Williams, Steve Dulk, Standard Ass Brian, Mizuru, Juris Dr. Mario, Tyler, Phil Lencher, Joe the Sandman, Northern, Jake Carter, Laces Out Dan, Growlywog, Beaver Boy, Thomas Smith, Leroy Westrich, Dark Squall, Rush's Dog Walker, Stud Steel Smash, Matt Babanu, Gabe, Fuzzy99, Decoy Man, a dude named Adam, Wyatt the Surgeon who isn't a surgeon row, Blaine the Hoagie Man, Scary Terry, Storm Beagle, Archangel Otaku, Earl, Hegel Waffle, High Plains Drifter, Jimothy, Oroku Saki's Gardner, General Fury, I Am the Very Model of a Modern Major General, Max Lagroom, John of the Adult Children Podcast, Jokes about him, okay? Sam Carpenter, Donnie the Dude, Walter, Sleeper Hit, Isaias, Hits Meals, Timmy the Exuberant Turtle, Caveman Lance, Christian Gabriel, Maverick Marty, Musty Beetle, Graham Kennedy, Timothy Sabrinsky, My Left Nut, Beef Dingleberry, Quiet Place Queen, Christopher Britt, Zamatos, Big the Cat, Tadpole, T-Bear 87, Isaac Adis, Brandon DeZeba, Kia Pup, Monster SD Boner, AB Kellen Works For Me, Mild Oatmeal, Ted Explosion, Ryan Perry, Alex R, Please Refrain From Tasting the Knob, Scotty J, Just Car Prank, Zombie Exy, Bartman Forever, Darth Skywalter, Postman, Nick Creature, Adam Martinet, The Big Deal, Ryan 4664, Kevin Monroe, Can't Destroy Her, Pee Wee Squitters, Nordak, Leroy Jenkins, Lord Palmerston, Beers of War, Because 19, Infinity Rage, Marcus Mendoza, Lord Long Rob Von Hugendom II, Roger Staubach, Spool Cleaner, Lucas Shaman, Frosty Bear, Sour Goat Face, Faded Sufferance, Chris Hill isn't scared, that could be anyone's ass. B Money, Penguin Milk, Fallen Snow Kiku, The Supreme Chorizo, you son of a bitch, why? Tell me why. E-Man Trucker, Mark Sneed, Christopher Lee Williams, Shoeboxers, Adam Blank still hasn't reviewed. Mario Galaxy, Jay Callahan, Robbie Air, Brian Richmond, Blobby, Smith, Bula, Too Much Karma, Mopey36, Cesar, Fill Up My Mouth With Farts, Liquor Like Luigi, Cody Thompson, JR Bob Dobbs, Bob Sacamano, Mr. Jabroni, Big Daddy Randall, Ida Yellow, Ryan Whitcomb, Flinny123, Justin Tate, Lotus, Thrillho, Toby OP, Scotty McGee, Alex McIntyre, Spider Cat, Eric Hopewells, Darbles, Generic Name 238, Newman, David Schroeder, Moncal, Diablo Spartan, Justin Blair, McCracken, Wilco, VOS Rager, Brother Retro, Conebread, Ocarina of Tim Rocks, Daniel Cook, you heard about Pluto, Dazerath, Super Cyan, Safarioth, Hello Mr. Thompson, MacGyver 88, Travis Sanders, Lord Salazar, Flater Flav, Captain Asbury Juice, Doogie Bowser MD, Topher Love, Thunder Leaps, Legend Barry, Jinxie 425, Akira's Network, Horror Wars Podcast, Rob Lindsay, Game Boy Gannon, Fancy Store-Bought Dirt, Steaming Wooly, Bot, Fuck Her, Mikey Hag, Shane's World, Devin Collins, Cannon Fodder Games, Erotic Chaotic, Just James, Spooky Dookie, Frank Preeves, The Okayest of Muffins, Landed Turquoise, Zigfried, Tyler Patchell, Handsome Major Angus McZongo Esquire, Raph is My Favorite Turtle, Not Donnie, Lindsay Lee, Jonathan Breyer, Redline Arrow Jones, George Swan, King Tiki Tiki, The $100 Kid, Ted Michaels, Chris Nethercutt, Davis Feith, Carl Not Garl, Amanda Huggin Kiss, Tim Maverick, Queer Al Yankerdick, Self High Five, Governor Blank, Proud Slurm Addict, and Cody Donaldson. Thank you all so much for the support. I actually did okay there. Struggled reading comments, but I could read names. Man, I was really off today. I have 2 more shows. There's gonna be some bad podcasts coming out of the next 24 hours. Anyway, thank you for the support, everybody. If you made it this far, you're the best. Take it easy. Talk to you later. Bye.